Happy Tuesday. We have made it to another Imperfect Action live stream. And you know what? I am taking full advantage of being imperfect today. We are kind of fumbling and bumbling all over ourselves today, but we're here. We have made it to another Tuesday, the Imperfect Action live stream. I am Rob Fenstermaker, former corporate burnout survivor, turned your kingdom builder, and I want to welcome you to the Imperfect Action live stream. I've got a great show on store today with my special guest, Eva Coppola. Eva, thank you for stopping by. I just want to give a quick introduction of what you shared with me. Eva Coppola, brand name Eva, is a distinguished career in a number of disciplines, a technology professional, a published author. Eva challenges convention in being as powerful a left brain operator as a right brain operator. And Eva is an empath, a persistent and hungry seeker of knowledge and enlightenment, and an active wealth manifester. Eva, I thank you for taking the time to stop by the Imperfect Action live stream. How are you doing on this Tuesday morning?
Um, Also with you in the bumbling and imperfect action, but done beats perfect.
That's what
So
it's about. That's what it's about. You know what? Think how boring life would be if it was perfect all the time. Just think about it. I mean, we never learn anything about ourselves. We never got the opportunity to grow. Perfection cannot be attained in this life. So why do we pursue it? But you know, let's just take the action. I call it imperfect action. Don't wait for the perfect time to act. Just act. If you want to accomplish something in this life, in this world, just do it. I think you can agree with that, can't you?
absolutely. I do keep the highest standard as my goal, and I know that I don't ever expect to be perfect, but having the standard drives best possible results, and that's how I do it.
Yeah.
That's how I
Yeah.
attenuate.
Yeah, I know you and I connected. Good, maybe a couple months ago at an event, and we just kind of
December,
you,
actually.
you yeah, maybe that's what it was. I know it's been a while, and you've attended a couple of my events, and I thank you for that. But it's just a great opportunity when you go to these different events to meet people, share experiences, learn about each other, and I enjoy you coming here today and getting the opportunity to learn a little bit more about you and just have you share a little bit with us about what you do. And I think that's always great because we've been given this life for a reason. I absolutely believe that we've been given this life for a reason, and I think that reason is to use it in a way to make a difference, to use it in a way to impact other lives. And the lives that we impact, it's us giving our best version of who we are. It's us leaving our mark in this world. And the people that the lives we can change, we never know what's going on in somebody's life. But the opportunity to uh, create that momentum in somebody's life can be life changing because we never know the words we use or how we use them in a way can change somebody's life, good and bad. And I know it's very powerful in how we live our life. And I know you've definitely you've had an interesting journey. You shared some stuff with me before we got on here, and you have a very interesting journey. And I love it. I love everything about that. And you're not afraid to get yourself out there. You've been very active in what it is you want to accomplish. So as I say that, and the actions you've taken, just share with me some of those actions you've taken that you feel have made a great difference in your life and where you are today and where you've come from and where you are today. What are some of those actions?
Well, a few things that I want to put this into context with is that it's really important that people understand, or it's important that I convey, as others do convey, that there are many facets to this story. There are many facets in this picture, and right now I happen to be dealing with incredibly difficult odds. I could, I could potentially lose my home and all of my belongings. So what am I
Hmm.
doing at this time? How would I, that can be a crushing, that's terrifying. That's
Yeah.
terrifying. But what I'm doing is being persistent in the practice of the principles of the law of attraction and the principles of being connected with source energy and remaining
Hmm.
aligned in mindset with creating what it is that I need to experience, the life that I need to experience, the life that I'm supposed to experience. And that's a daily practice. And I have different techniques I can share. In a minute, I'll share a little piece of
Yeah.
different things, as time
Yeah.
allows. But on an overarching, from an overarching view, that is my daily, persistent practice, and it is, I, it's kind of the dominant thing that I'm doing now, because it is the primary means by which I remain aligned with source energy and connected. And I wanted to applaud you that the power of your faith, such as you express it, the power of your positive energy impacts me in a positive way. And I derive also from that. And I just wanted to acknowledge that, because it sometimes
Thank you.
gets missed and people may not say something.
I appreciate that. I had a conversation with somebody earlier today, and he mentioned that. He talked about the energy when you do a presentation, you have a lot of energy, and he challenged me with something that I thought was interesting. He said, "I think you could be so much powerful if occasionally you just kind of dial it back." And I don't know that I can do that, but that's a challenge. And I'm always up for a challenge. I'm always up for a challenge too, because I think the challenges that we have in life, those are the things that make us better. Those are the things that take us to another level. And accepting those challenges, it's what brings victory. There's a saying I love it's credited to General Patton. I don't know, but he says, "Be willing to accept the challenges of life so that you can feel the exhilaration of victory." And when you go through those challenges, because life is, I like to say life's a full contact sport at times, and it can be. And it's those challenges that make us who we are. And you shouldn't shy away from the challenges. You should really embrace the challenges as they come to you, and you'll be that best version of what you want to be. You said something to start there that I've always loved: the law of attraction. And I kind of want you to elaborate a little bit on that. And
Yes.
I think it's powerful, and the people that we attract, that we want to bring into,
Yes.
or like I say, our ecosphere. I'll talk about that a little bit.
Yes, this is something that I have only grown in my practice, and I have intensified to a really full expression at this point. And so there are things that I
Mhm.
do every single day. One of them is scripting. I may do scripting. I may do walking meditation, or I may do several things in it, or I do all day long walking meditation.
Mhm.
Another technique is the rampage of appreciation, which is simply picking every possible thing that I could say. I appreciate this for this reason. I appreciate my teeth because I can chew food that gives me nutrition and gives me energy. I appreciate the fact that I can cook eggs. I appreciate the fact that I can see. I appreciate the fact that I can breathe. I can speak. I can think. I have a sharp mind. I have a strong body. I continue to train at the gym. I mean, there's a thousand million things. And the point of that exercise is to put myself in the place of being joyful and fulfilled, because that is the energy I'm circulating. So that is the energy that will come back, and that is the attraction. And the law of attraction is a law, whether it works, whether we use it to our benefit or not. It is like the law of gravity. The law of gravity is going to function whether I believe in it or not. So the law of attraction will function whether I believe in it or not. But since we've seen so much evidence of this actually working, like people manifest winning lottery tickets. They do that. There are books about it. Okay, this is a real
Okay.
thing. So, you know, what I have done, and one of the practices I do, another method, I'll show you a little crude image I drew, which is a
Yeah.
practice, one of the practices. But another method that I do is that I don't know how, this is really important, how the universe has unlimited possibilities. And I actually posted on YouTube earlier this morning a response to someone who had written on one of my videos, because I'm doing videos about this. The
Mhm.
ego runs on fear. This is not useful to us most of the time. It has its uses to a point, but it really is a very limited thing. The ego wants to keep us, quote, safe. The ego
Yeah.
wants to protect us, but it doesn't do a good job of doing that, because the ego is programmed by the information that we are predominantly fed, which is that we are only in a physical being. There's energy doesn't have anything to do with it. Everything is just a solid object. We are just solid, and that's not true. We are energy. Everything is energy, everything is electrons spinning around. And the quicker the more and frequently and the more powerfully I connect with that energy source, that unlimited source, the more powerfully then I bring in and allow all of the experience that I desire. I'm not making it happen. I'm not willing it to happen, because that creates the energy of resistance, and that pushes away me attracting. So I allow. So the law of attraction functions because I am connecting myself with that energy. And sometimes for people, people say, oh, I don't believe in it. Okay, fine. Then move yourself into an emotional state of neutral. When the fear hits, and I encounter fear every single day, every morning, every day. It's really hard. So how do I get, so I say, okay, first, maybe I have to move into an emotional neutral place. First, go to neutral. Go to, okay, I am detached. I am detached from all outcomes. I am detached from all results, because I don't know how the unlimited universe will give me what I desire. I don't know how that's happening, because the universe has unlimited possibilities, which I can't conceive of. I don't know what they are. I cannot, I'm a physical being and I'm in a physical experience. So I don't have the ability to imagine the unlimited, quote, miraculous things that can happen. We define as miraculous, but for the universe, it's just another day. So that's kind of part of the base principle. And there's another exercise, and here's this crude drawing I did of the exercise. Okay. So it's the ocean of
Oops,
wealth. Let me see if the image will show. I don't know. It's hard to make.
it's
Let's
hard.
see if I
Yeah.
do
You have
this.
to, yeah. Yeah. It's
If
going
I
to keep
turn my
popping you up
background.
there.
All
Yeah.
right.
Turn your background off. That's the only way. But yeah, okay, you can see it there. Okay. Well, you had it there for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, if
That,
I rotate.
I caught it
Okay,
quickly.
so this is,
Yeah.
it's the ocean of wealth. Okay, so
Yeah.
I mean, it's a crude drawing, but essentially it's the
Okay.
ocean of wealth. Oh, here we go. And
Here we
I've
go.
made this crude drawing of the ocean of wealth, right? It can be the ocean of anything. It can be the ocean of abundance. It can be the ocean of fulfillment. It doesn't matter. It's whatever your meditation is. In my case, I need to build wealth. So there's this crude
Yeah.
drawing of me in the center, right? And there's this red bucket, and there's these piles of money on this beach, and this gold bullion. And the ocean of wealth is where I'm going, and I'm putting this water in this bucket, and then I pour the bucket out. That's the meditation, is I pour the bucket out onto the sand, and then it produces these piles of money and wealth.
Hmm.
And the little note I have down at the side there says, thank you, I allow you to flow into my bank account. I'm not willing you to, I'm not demanding that you do it, I'm not saying that you do it, I'm saying I allow, I receive, I thank you. So anyway, it's a crude drawing, but the point of me doing the drawing, it took me time to do this, right? It's a crappy drawing. I'm not a graphic artist. I'm an artist in a lot of other ways. I'm a great, wonderful creator, just not with drawing. But the
Yeah.
point is that I sat down and it took me probably a couple of hours to draw every pile of money and gold bullion and all that stuff. Is that was part of the meditation of saying,
Yeah.
thank you, universe. I know that you care for me. I know that you love me. I don't know how this is happening, but that's not my department. My department is to stay aligned with the energy no matter what. And
Yeah.
so for those people who struggle with this, the physical world will continuously insist that it knows best, but it doesn't. And we have thousands upon thousands and thousands of examples of people who have literally healed themselves. They have literally manifested winning the lottery. They've manifested miraculous things happening. So
Yeah.
it does not matter what you desire. It just matters that you stay aligned with that energy of being joyful and being as if, rather than acting as if, being as if you have already received it, being as if you are that
Yeah.
person who is already that, rather than acting as if, which is superficial. So I like to say, being as if is fundamental, acting as if is superficial. And
Yeah. I like to
these are
I like to call it
the base
I like to call
principles
it
that
remember.
I'm functioning
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. I like to call it remembering your future. And uh, you come up with you know what you want to accomplish in life, and you have to be intentional about it. And I just say, remember your future. You know what you want. Just remember what it is you want. Remember your future. The same thing. And I love that drawing you did. And you said it's. I'm not an artist by any means, but you know what? To me there is so much power in just pen
Yes.
and paper, and just the
Yes.
physical act of just writing. There is so much
Yes. And that's
power
why
in it.
scripting.
Uh,
That's why I do
yeah,
scripting.
yeah. And because I love journaling, I have journaled for years. I have probably journaled for 25 years, and I've saved every moleskin I've ever journaled in. And when I just start writing, you just the thoughts just flow. I've never really drawn a I mean, I can try and draw a diagram, but they're all just look like it's something that maybe a 3-year-old put together. But I just write
Yeah.
more words, and there's so much power in that, and just letting things go. And if you're drawing what you did, I absolutely believe there's power in that.
Yeah, and there's an additional piece of that puzzle too for those again who are listening for whom this may be useful. The reason that the bucket is red is because we actually have 11 chakras, not 7, because we have some in the
Mhm,
back as well. And the lowest, the chakra in our system that is the closest to the earth is our
mhm,
base chakra, and that is the one that is connected to prosperity and property, wealth, prosperity. That
right.
is at actually the location of where your butt cheeks are. And the colors that are it's the base chakra, but the colors that are
Yeah.
associated are red and yellow. And my
Okay.
logo is red and
Yeah.
gold,
Red and
red and
yellow.
yellow. So the bucket, the reason I made the bucket red is because in the action of this meditation of going to the ocean of abundance or the ocean of wealth or the ocean of whatever it is that you need it to be, and this is really important because this is your sacred space.
Mhm,
When you go into this spiritual place where you connect yourself with source energy and that unlimited, that whole unlimited thing, just think about it. This is your sacred place. So you go there, and I take and for me, it's the bucket is red, and
mhm,
I'm dipping the bucket into the water, that red color for base chakra, for that energy, and then pouring it on to the sand. This practice can be done for whatever is what
mhm.
you need. And the other thing I wanted to say, you know, our purpose in life is to be happy. And I know that the Quakerism and all these, negative philosophies want, oh no, you shouldn't be happy. Bullshit. The reason that we need to be happy is because the more I'm happy and fulfilled and rich and everything else, the more I spread it around to everybody around me.
Mhm.
I
Absolutely.
cannot be poor enough to make another person wealthy. I cannot be sick enough to help another person be well, and I cannot be miserable enough to bring joy to another person. So the quicker I'm wealthy, fulfilled, and happy and bursting with joy is the quicker I put that back in, inevitably shine it out into the world, and then more people can have it. So I think that it's just
Yeah.
really important. Like, your purpose in life is to be happy, really.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
simple.
I agree. Happiness is powerful. I mean, it's life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It's right there in the Declaration of Independence. And
There's a
happiness
reason.
is something. There is a reason. You're absolutely right. There's an absolute reason. So let's talk. You've kind of touched on the materializing
Yes.
wealth, and wealth to it can mean a lot of different things. It can mean financial wealth. It can mean a wealth of just spirit, a wealth of an abundant life. Let's touch base on that. So when you say materializing wealth, what it- what do you really refer? What do you focus on most?
I focus on being the person who is already in having all of those things in my experience. And so I use these different exercises and tools, and there are hundreds you can use. I'm just listing a
Mhm.
few, but I use them every single day. I start my day. So this may be something I know people identify with this as well. Morning is probably the toughest time for me. When I first become conscious, that is the probably the toughest time because the
Okay.
challenges that currently face me are so terrifying, and
Right.
I'm alone. I don't have, I can't go to people to say, hey, can you help me? I just don't have that. So that is the toughest time. So the first thing I do, because I become conscious and then the fear is there, like just going to crush me. And so I start with really like, okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. I start with this, but I immediately in engage in a meditation, some sort of connection exercise.
Mhm.
I write myself checks every day, and I say every day, everything is paid 100,000 times over. Everything is paid 100,000 times over. I have no idea how this is happening, but thank you. So it starts with that. I have there's another saying. We resolve to the level of our rituals and our habituations. So
Okay.
my work is all about having the rituals and habituations that are elevated, so that when it's really bad and tough and the physical world is trying to convince me, my ego's trying to convince me there's no hope. There's no hope for you. This is a
Hmm.
horrible place to be. What do you do? Okay, go into neutral. Reset back to, look, I can point to story upon story upon story of other people who are just like, I'm just like them. They're just like me. But they have what? Manifested miracles in their life. What
Yeah.
we call miracle, what the universe calls another, just another day. Uh, so it is, in a very basic way, it's a basic exercise. It's a basic daily commitment where I put my
Yeah.
energy into being the person,
Yeah.
thinking as if, acting as if, smiling as if, speaking as if, breathing as if, being as if.
No, I absolutely, I believe 100% in miracles. I mean, I've experienced miracles myself. When my wife and I, we have a daughter and a son. And when our son was born, he had some very serious medical issues, to the point where when he was 4 months old, he was placed on life support, given a 5% chance to survive. That's where I witnessed miracle after miracle after miracle that happened during those 37 days that he was on life support. Things that people would just say, it's coincidence. No, no, no. There's no coincidence about this, because we were trying to manifest it. My wife and I were trying to manifest, his health, trying to get him back, and things just happened that there's no explanation for other than they just happened. My son today is 27 years old. He's healthy. He's doing very well. That was one of those times in my life that, as tough as it was, I wouldn't trade it for anything, because I learned so much about myself. I learned so much about my faith. I learned so much about the potential of what life has to offer during that time.
Well, I would offer you that you didn't try to. You were just, you and she were truly energetically completely aligned with that, those, all of those solutions, all of that
Yeah,
well-being that was there,
yeah,
and you were just so purely aligned with it that you were not allowing any doubt or anything else to come in. And you materialized that, you visualized his well-being, you were there with him energetically, and then that developed, that came into your
yeah.
experience.
It is. It is. It's part of our story, and that part of that story is something that changed us, and it's something that we've used to serve others in a powerful way as well. And that's how you have to
It's a
treat each
wonderful thing.
opportunity. How are you going to use this to serve others? I absolutely believe that. And to me, it's living out of abundance. Living life out of abundance is powerful.
And we can't help it. We don't it I One thing that has really liberated me, and I've gotten a tremendous amount of ability to breathe more deeply from this, in the face of unbelievable pressures and real terrifying situation, is that I don't have to force it. It's an inevitable consequence. Me being joyful and putting out that, it's the inevitable consequences that I will impact in a positive way. And by contrast, the inevitable consequence of me feeling the fear and being in misery and being hopeless will produce that.
Hmm.
So it kind of becomes, well, there isn't a choice here, because I know that the misery doesn't produce the results anyway. Why why commit energy to that when I know that, yeah. So
Yeah,
we
and,
can't
and
help
fear is
it.
powerful. Fear is powerful, and I you're always going to have fear, and people, you always need a level of fear. And people that say they're fearless, they're scary. To me, they scare me, because you got to have some. There's got to be some level of fear in your life over something. Now, I'm not saying be paralyzed by fear, but being able to control fear. That's where courage comes in, and that's where you really discover, a lot about, what it is you can accomplish. I know the other thing you really is empathy. And I'll be honest with you, empathy is something that was foreign to me up until 15 years ago. I wouldn't say it's foreign, but it's something I really struggle with. I did not come from a family of empaths. I did not understand what empathy was. And I'm a man, and a lot of times it just doesn't come as natural to a lot of men. I think that's what makes that yin and the yang. We all have a masculine energy and a feminine energy. That feminine energy to me represents that empathetic life, that nurturer. But being an empowered empath, that's taking it to another level. So when you say empowered empathy, or what does that mean to you?
It means that one, I want to address one thing, which was that uh, when fear comes, I say, "Oh, okay. Thank you for expressing yourself. I hear you. Okay, that's very nice what you have to say there, but you don't mean anything more than that." And this is another
Yeah.
critical thing about a practical practice of mindset and mindfulness and spiritual alignment and emotional alignment, being being empowered. Okay, thank you, fear. Because it used to be that the fear would come and it would mean consequences to me. It would mean, oh, that means, well, it's all going to go to hell. I'm definitely losing my home now. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so, the most important thing is that it's not a fact. It's not realistic. It's an emotion. And emotions have their place. Okay, thank you. You expressed yourself. Thank you for expressing yourself. Now I'm going to go into the place of saying, I release all attachment to any outcomes. I am detached from these everything. And I'm putting myself in the place of an open heart and an open spirit. Empowered empathy is being proud. I am an empath and I'm proud of it. It used to be that people say, "Oh, you're too sensitive. You're so sensitive. You're so." Now I say, that is my superpower.
Mhm.
Yes, it has its price in certain areas, granted, but everything
Yeah.
has a price. There is no thing that we get that doesn't have some sort of price somewhere anyway. So let's leave that alone and let's just talk about the benefits. People who are winners focus on the benefits. They don't focus on the detraction. They focus all on the benefits. So people who accomplish a lot in life, they're continuously. So this is my superpower, that I have a true ability. First, I am acutely sensitive, so I hear things, I sense things, I pick up on things that the average person might not. I listen to
Yeah.
things very carefully. It makes me able to listen to you in a different way.
Hmm.
It makes me able to listen to you in a really effective way. And then it allows me to listen to what is happening around in a better way. And now I say, no, I'm not too sensitive. I'm exactly as sensitive as I should be, because this
Hmm.
allows me to be more, to hear better, and to provide a safe space to listen to others where they know that they are never judged. They know that there is no prejudice anywhere. I don't come with any prejudice at all. I don't come with preconceived notions. Blank slate, and everything that you say is sacred. And I'm listening to you as a human, and I'm listening to your spirit, I'm listening to your heart, I'm listening to you as a whole human. This is very powerful because it allows me to then lead from a place of real love and real genuine affection, genuine fondness for people.
Yeah. Yeah, I love what Heim shared, that it's a lot of times if we're not careful with fear, we're fearing something that may never happen. We get all
That's the
anxious.
thing. It's not,
That's been my experience. That's been my
well, and
experience
that's the
with
thing. That's what
when
I'm
I get
saying.
anxious about. Yeah.
It's not an actual thing, right?
Right. Right.
That's what I'm
Right.
saying. Like the fear is
Right.
going, this will happen to you.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it actually isn't a thing.
Yeah.
All it is an emotion.
Yeah.
So this is a
And
very
if you
important thing about
if you focus on it too much, it's going to happen. That's the thing. If you've
yes, it
convinced
will.
yourself through anxiety and fear that whatever is going to happen, you think is going to happen, chances are it may happen. because
It's very high
you've created that
probability.
mindset, you've created that journey. This is the path I want to go down.
Yeah. And so for me, I try to keep it simple for people for whom these principles may be completely weird and strange and, unfathomable. Fear is not actually a fact of the matter. It's
Yeah.
just an emotion. And when we can take the pressure off and say, "Oh, okay, thank you for sharing. Okay, you came to visit again. Okay, thanks. I know you wanted to come
Yeah.
visit and be loud. Okay, I got you. But I need to return to the place that I know is the true place. I need to, I'm sorry, you can talk, but now I need to get into that alignment that I know is the right place for me.
Yeah.
And it's not with fear, right? It's not with
I like how I like how you phrase that. It's because fear's going to can talk loud. You just like you. I love how you phrase that. That's perfect. That's perfect. So I mean, put it in its proper place. Don't get paralyzed
yes,
by it, but it's just an emotion. You're right.
yeah,
It is an emotion. Just as joy is an emotion, happiness is an emotion. They're all
yeah, but they're
emotions.
much
Anger is an
better
emotion.
emotions.
Well, they're much better. You're
Joy
right.
and
You're right.
happiness are the fantastic.
Right.
I have
Well,
up here on my wall of my visions here is
yeah.
fear is my counselor, not my jailer.
Yeah. So you created a vision board. I'm just curious. You did create a vision board.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
that's cool. I've I've tried to in the past, and it's never 100% worked for me because I don't know why. I know what I want out of life, and I know what I want to accomplish out of life. Putting it on a vision board is something I've never quite gotten to, but I can write it down. I can write it down
yeah.
and be intentional about it that way. So I guess that's my vision board, my journals that I've created. That's my vision board.
Yeah, I
So
just have a wall. I have a wall. In fact, I can take my camera and turn it and share it with you. This is my wall of.
okay,
Will
it's
it
not
show? Oh,
showing
it's
up.
not going to show. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. All I'm seeing is your background. So
It won't show. On the wall is that clumsy illustration I showed of the ocean of wealth, along with a number of other cards of statements. And one of them is fear is my counselor, not my jailer, but there are a ton of others. I
mhm.
am a money magnet. I am aligned with the energy of abundance. I could go on. And it just,
Yeah,
these are the things I'm feeding my head with. And
yeah,
then I have things around the apartment too. I have stickies everywhere of,
yeah.
things, pieces of paper, things, and I just read them to myself.
And mindset's a powerful thing, and a lot of people discount it. And one of the things that helped me with my mindset years ago, I divorced myself from the news. I'm done
Yeah,
because I used to be one of those
me too.
people that was addicted to the news, and after
Yeah,
a while, it was the same garbage. It was nothing new. It was they just try and get you all spun up and get you excited so they can sell whatever that service is to their advertisers. Say, hey, we've got these, and it's
yeah,
a sick cycle. I mean, I'm not naive as to what's going on in the world. I know what's going on in the world, but I can't control it. I can't control
no,
what's going on overseas. All I
no,
can control is the 20 feet space I have around me and that 6 inch space between my ears. That's what I can control. And mindset's a powerful thing. Mindset is a very powerful thing, which brings me to what I'd like to talk about next, the balance of left and right brain.
yes, sir.
I know a little bit about this. I know left brain, right brain. I hear people say that. I'm probably, you obviously got a lot more knowledge on that than what I do. But just share with me that the balancing our left and right brain.
Not everyone may be a balance of left and right brain functionality. I happen to be someone who is like that. That's how I convey this to people. How is this possible? Well, it just happens to be that this is who I am. The right brain covers our creative work. Uh,
Okay.
Now, I have to say that creativity is the thread that flows through everything. So I do not think that creativity is mutually exclusive to technical. I think that that's a misconception that is not helpful at all. I think it's actually a damaging view. But leaving that aside, the traditional view is that the right brain covers our creative work. So I am distinguish as a creator in a number of different disciplines: singer, actor, dancer, designer, and I have the work to prove it. Grammy level work, Oscar level
Yeah.
work, absolutely, and I can prove that. And then people say, "Oh, well, you're too pretty to be a programmer, and you're too blah 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 to be a technologist, and whatever." And it's nonsense. The left brain is traditionally the technical, mechanical set of functions. So, left brain technology, right brain creativity. For me, they come together in harmony, and I am all of these things at the same time. I am the samba dancer, and I'm your systems. I can be a systems analyst, or I can deal with your, nerdy stuff. Um, and it's not commonly accepted. It's not. It's an uncommon thing. I realize that, so I call myself a unicorn for that reason, because
Mhm.
I have to kind of give people a sense of, okay, yes, this is unusual. Now suspend your disbelief, and you've got to take me as the whole package. So that's what I use that phrase for, is to
Yeah.
give people a sense of, okay, this is who's coming toward you now. This is Miss,
Yeah.
left brain and right brain together.
Yeah, I knew you shared some of your samba dance videos. And those are cool. I love. My wife always grew up in dance, so she actually Irish dance, so
Oh,
it's a little
nice.
bit different than samba dance. But what got you into samba dance? I'm just curious about that. What got you into that?
The music of Brazil is something that has been a part of my life since I was born, and
Okay.
as a singer, I've created a significant discography of work in a variety of genres. One of them is, some of my work is purely Brazilian, where I sing in Portuguese, and it's purely Brazilian work, and samba is the bass rhythm. Some of the
Yeah.
work is world beat, some of the work is EDM, some of the work is blues, some of it is rock, some of it is a blend of Bhangra and samba. Bhangra is the Indian popular dance rhythm, and India and Brazil have a cultural history that goes back to the 16th century, when Vasco da Gama went out and took territory in India. And that's a whole other wonderful piece of history.
Yeah.
I actually put a little bit of that in my book. I wrote a little bit about that in my book. Um,
Yeah.
but that's music, that Brazilian music has been part of my life since early childhood.
I was totally
And it was
unaware
my
of these.
first musical love.
So
You were totally unaware.
A Brazilian explorer made his way to India. Did I understand
Vasco,
that correct?
Vasco da Gama was Portuguese.
Okay.
They had colonized Brazil by this time. I think they had probably
Okay.
already, or they were in the process of colonizing. So I don't know if they had colonized
Mhm.
Brazil yet.
Okay.
But Vasco da Gama was from Portugal, and he colonized Goa and Cochin,
Okay.
and that area of India was not sovereign Indian sovereign territory until, I think, 61 is when they finally claimed sovereignty over that territory. It was a for a
Interesting.
long time. Yeah,
Yeah. I've traveled to India one time, and it is an interesting country to say the least. And
yep,
we were in what was called a village in India, and there was 300,000 people. I mean, the United States, that's a decent
yeah.
sized city, but in India,
Where
that's
were you?
that's
I spent some time there. Where were you?
yeah. We flew into a city called Bangalore, which is in the state of
Okay.
Karnataka, and then
Yes. Hmm.
we went about a half an hour south of Bangalore and stayed in a village called Chikbalapur.
Okay.
And it's just an interesting country. And
Hmm.
one of our guides there was an Indian, and he made the comment to me just kind of offhand that if every Indian around the world came back home to India, there would not be enough space on the
No.
landmass of India. And he's right. And he's absolutely
Yeah.
right. My wife and I, we moved to Southwest Florida almost 2 years ago to the day, and we moved from Columbus, Ohio. And in the neighborhood we lived in Columbus, Ohio, there was a huge Indian population that was there because Columbus, Ohio, it's just a big tech center. So a lot of
Yep.
Indians would come
Yep.
over and apply their trade there in that area. But it's just a very I was just became fascinated with the whole Indian culture, learning a lot more about it, and just different cultures. I'm very in tune with different cultures, and that's to me one way to really experience life. How my wife and I do, how we experience different cultures is through food. Food. If
Yeah, I
you,
love. Yeah,
food,
yeah.
yeah. If you want to
Well,
experience a culture, eat the food. That's how you experience true culture.
it's definitely one of the ways, no doubt. You really
Yeah,
need to read my book because there's an entire section in my book about my voyage to India and my time spent
yeah.
there.
So let's share
And
about your book. Share us with about your book.
this is the first of what will be at least three books. This book is
Okay.
focused on mainly centered around one topic, and then I have other elements in the book as well as sort of a bit of tangential subject relief, a bit,
Mhm.
because the title of the book is my exodus from the covert malignant narcissist sociopaths. Uh, these people can be in our lives in a variety of expressions,
Yeah.
and they are profoundly destructive. So I write about this experience in my book, but I write about other things as well. I forward the book with, I wrote the forward to kind of bring my reader into the stories that they will read. There are some
Mhm.
things that are very difficult to read, but it is important because it is another voice for those people who may be trapped still in a narcissistic toxic in a trapped with a narcissist sociopath in a toxic pattern. There are people that are stuck in marriages for 20 years. And
Mhm.
it's really important to not blame the person because being in that dynamic, it literally is being in a prison. So
Mhm.
I wrote about this, about how I broke out of my prison and what the experience looked like. What did the prison look like? How did the
Mhm.
prison express itself? There are, I have a lot of experience, and it's important that people see, oh, another human who had this experience, and oh
Mhm.
wow, she went through all that. I went through all this. Well, okay, I guess I can relate to this person, right? So it's important that there's the resonance. And then I talk about what happened to me internally in terms of changes and shifts that I made. And I also talk about other experiences that are just pieces of my life as a creator and a traveler.
Yeah.
And so there's a section, and I mean, I don't mean like physical traveler, but I really mean like emotional traveler, spiritual traveler.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but I talk about my time in India, and I have some funny stories. I have a collection of pretty funny stories in there that I hope, yeah, they're
Yeah.
fun to read. I have some funny cat stories I've put into the book. Um, I put in a section, a piece about my work as a singer and a creator.
Yeah.
But book two will be focused on my work as a creator. It won't be focused on the subject of narcissism, sociopath. It will be focused on my work as a creator mainly, and then I'll have some like threads I pick up that I forgot in book one. And then book
Mhm.
three will be something else. I don't know exactly what the title is. I know what the title of book two will be. I
Okay.
don't know what the title of book three will be yet, but it will be something like another viewpoint of where I'm standing. And that's
Mhm.
what I know about book three at this point. It will take more form as time goes on. But book two, I know exactly what it will be about. It will just be like all my creative work.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. And the website, finally, freeevaeva.com. That's the website that supports your book, correct? So if
Yes,
people
sir.
want to learn more about that, yeah, you can go there to learn more about writing. And it's amazing. You wrote a book. I mean, I've wanted to write a book for so long, and I people have asked why I haven't written a book, and I tell them, you know what I have. I mentioned earlier I journal, and I've saved every journal, and I keep them on my bookshelf. I probably have got 20, 25 moleskin. My book is there. It's just a matter of me sitting down and being intentional about going through it and putting it in I guess, a way that makes sense. But I have written my book. I just have not officially written my book. And it's got to be a labor of love to do that. Got to be a labor of love.
You know, uh, I had said for years, I would tell people about some of my experience up to that point, right? Some of my life
Yeah.
experience up to whatever that point was. And they'd be, oh my God, you should write a book. People need to read your book. And I would always say the same thing. Yeah, I really should, but, and then I would give all of the lists of limiting beliefs about how I couldn't do it. And for me, it was like, well, I need 2 years where I don't need any money and I don't have to focus on anything and I can only do the book and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so
Yeah.
this is what really happened. And this, I wrote about this in the book too, that I was glad to smash the limiting beliefs I had about this. This was a big one.
Yeah.
Uh, January of 23, I had a shift. And I won't be a spoiler by saying there's some powerful stuff in the book about some pretty dark moments. Okay. And then January 23, I had this really significant internal shift. Big, big, big shift. And that led to a number of things that the universe, I believe, just like they just came, right? It was like, oh, hi, here's a message. So, in no particular order, uh, I was in I was in a seminar about empowerment. I was in an empowerment seminar, and from that
Mhm.
seminar, then all of a sudden popped into my email, or not from that seminar, but shortly after me doing that internal work. Then suddenly, accidentally, whatever, popped in my email. Oh, by the way, hi, you could write your book in 60 days. You could write your bestseller in 60 days. Here's a free 3-day seminar. So I'm like, okay, I guess I should do that. So I was like, yeah, okay, right. So I did the seminar. At the same time, uh, I had gotten an invitation to, hey, we're doing a free new home buyers seminar. You should come to, we're doing in the neighborhood. So because of one of the things I had written down is I'm buying my house. So then the universe sent me the, hi, free seminar, new home buyers. So I went to the free new home buyers seminar. Okay. And then something else happened, which I'm forgetting right now, but about the book. So I go to the 3-day seminar. And in that 3 days, one of the things they said was, okay, so before this days are done, you have to pick your publish date. You cannot walk away from these 3 days. You pick your publish date before we're done. I don't care. Just pick it. So for some reason, I had like May 1st. It has to be May 1st. I don't know why, just May
Yeah.
1st. All right. So the seminar was in March. So I started writing the book in March, in about 8 weeks.
Yeah.
I had 300 and something page book done. This includes
Yeah.
I've got to do the trim work. I've got to do the book formatting. I've got to get the software to do the formatting. I've got to actually write the content of the book. I've got to do the print, do every cover art, everything. And it's a huge undertaking. But for some reason, it had to be May 1st. And I'm telling you,
Yeah.
down to the minute. I was
Yeah.
literally down to the minute to publish in time for it to be published May 1st. But it got done. And what I did every night and every morning was I would say, all right, I'm getting it done. I'm getting the book done. I'm getting it. Thank you. I'm
Yeah.
getting the book done. I know I'm getting the book done.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like I at the time I was on contract with National Grid. So that was I was working for them for eight hours a day. The minute I was
Yeah.
done with them, I would take time at the gym if I had the time. And I was writing. I had my writing set up and that was it. Write until you sleep and just write and do it. And all the weekends were like full-time weekend writing. And
Yeah. And
it,
those deadlines are powerful. I like to say, I mean, I love deadlines because to me, it lights a fire under my ass to get it done. You don't have a deadline, you can just start wandering and getting and not a lot accomplished.
yeah,
But a deadline, that's powerful. I love that. I love that. And you crushed your deadline.
it felt
You crushed it.
really, really good to be in that seminar that I knew was like clearly I really did feel like the universe was like, yeah, it's time for you to write your book. Okay. And none of
Yeah.
this fiddling around, write the book. So I really did feel like that was what happened. There's no reason why these people should have found me and sent me an invitation to their seminar.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically.
As you wrote this book, you kind of shared a little bit of your experiences and trying. I mean,
Yes.
did you create an avatar in your mind of the person this is the person I want to serve the most by them reading this book and them taking that step. Were you able to create that image of who you really wanted to
That
serve? Or
that emotional connection already existed.
okay,
So that was not, I didn't have to do anything. I just had to do it. I just had to write.
yeah, yeah, just had to write. I love it. Just had to write. Just do it. Just do it. To
I
steal
just,
from a famous marketing slogan
I
of
know.
what 35 years ago. Just do it.
I
So
know.
let's talk about your technology company. I know you wanted to share some of that. Just share with
Yes,
me
sir.
about your technology company that you've created.
Yes. So this is I'm offering a feature that's based upon a vast, comprehensive, feature-rich platform. The feature that I'm bringing forward is called the missed call text back, and the way it works is that a business will I turn your missed calls into captured revenue and passive leads. When a customer calls a business and they miss the call, that customer gets a text back immediately of a welcome message and information from the business. So now this elevates the conversation, and now that person, that customer, is now someone who is a lead who can be nurtured, rather than someone who
Mm-hmm.
just disappeared into the ether. Oh, well, I left a message, I don't know if they'll call me back, which is typically what happens when you call
Right.
a business. You leave a message and you don't
Yeah.
know. So that's the basic feature itself. And
Do you have an ideal client that we are looking at, or just any kind of business? I mean, you could look focused on the size of business or specific industry, anything like that you're kind of focused on?
businesses who have a healthy phone life will
Okay.
benefit from this because they will see the revenue immediately. Um, Trades will automatically find a use for this because they are phone based. And in
Hmm.
many cases, the trades will be out doing the work, and
Yeah.
they can't be taking client calls, and they don't have support to take client calls. And this is 24/7. So the
Yeah.
person's number, name, and associated email are captured the minute they call. Now they become someone that the business can nurture, where they can run campaigns if they want. They could run email campaigns. They could run, um, and I provide a number that is compliant with anti-spam and anti-scam restrictions, which are now increasing in the United States as well as globally.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but we have specific restrictions in the United States, and so I provide a compliant registered number for that business to use for this purpose.
Okay. So if somebody wants to reach you about this, what was the best way to just go to your website? Is there a better way for them to reach you?
You can go to my site, and you can also book time with me on my calendar. But if you go to my site, what you'll get is a demo. You'll see that there's a demo that you can run to see how it works,
Yeah.
and you'll be able to send me. And there's an email. You can send an email to me from the site.
Well, cool. Well, cool. That's great. And yeah, I love it. I mean, you're taking that step. You're taking that action. That's what it's about. That's why you're on the Imperfect Action live stream, because you took some action and you're making a difference. And I love it. Eva, I have loved this conversation. I've loved everything about this. And I'm glad to have had you here. I know that I'm going to do a little shameless plug for myself. This Friday, I've got my virtual Friday whiskey hour coming up. You've stopped by there a couple of times. There's no
I have.
requirement to drink whiskey, just a requirement to come and just share and just connect. And you can attest. We've had some pretty lively conversations. You can attest to that.
I
You can
can.
attest to that, yes. So, and also, you too can be a guest on the Imperfect Action live stream as well. If you're interested in being a guest on the Imperfect Action live stream, just hop onto my Calendly link, and you can schedule a date and time to be on the Imperfect Action live stream. I also have another community. I think you've stopped by uh, maybe
Yes,
once. My Iron Sharpens Iron
more
community.
than once.
Uh,
More than once.
yeah, okay, more than once. And there's no whiskey at this. It's a little bit different community, but again, it's just an opportunity to bring people together, to share, to make those connections, to do network, and that's what it's about. I mean, we all have the opportunity. To me, it's just living out of abundance. Share what it is. Share our wealth, our spiritual wealth, whatever wealth, however you want to define wealth. Be sharing of that, because that's abundance. That's what abundance is about. Don't do it in scarcity. Don't live in scarcity. That's no way to live. Nobody wants to
Yeah.
be around a person that lives in scarcity. They want to be around a person that lives in abundance. And those are the people
Yes,
that
and I want to share.
want. Yeah, and we mentioned happy
Will
because
it?
those are the people that I have found to be the most happy. Those that live in abundance. What do you what did you
It
pull up
won't
there? I'm
show.
sorry. It won't show.
This checks I write, it just won't show. But
No, the
anyway,
check,
it's part
the
of.
checks. Yeah, yeah,
So it's a piece I can't. It's not showing, but
yeah,
part of this exercise, I wanted to show that I write these checks every day, and the
yeah.
checks are actually from the universe.
Okay,
It's fine. Doesn't matter. That's the point. The
okay.
point of it is that we don't know how, we just know it will. And I just write.
Now, have you ever yet cashed one of these checks?
I have not yet cashed them, but I am writing them
Okay,
every day, and they will. They everything is paid 100,000 times over.
okay. Cool. I love it.
Sorry, I
I love the
interrupted you. I'm
mindset.
sorry. It was just.
No, no, no. I'm just saying. I love the mindset. And write the check, and then again, I just call it remembering your future. Know what it is you want to do, and be intentional about it, and take those actions each and every day. Take those imperfect actions each and every day, and you take enough of those imperfect actions, you start to make momentum, and you start to realize what it is, the potential you have, and the difference you can make. So, Eva, I
You reminded
appreciate
me of
this. I
something.
appreciate.
Oh,
What's that? Go ahead. Go ahead.
you reminded me of something else. I'm sure you know about this. What is it? Atomic Habits. This book, Atomic
Mhm.
Habits, and the
Yes.
principle that the tiny change on 100 different things
Yeah.
collectively accrues to really
Oh, it does.
major
Yeah. Yeah.
progress.
Yeah.
So I heard a little bit of the book because I use Audible like crazy, and they were talking about
Yeah.
how the British racing team had managed to become absolutely dominant, and they did it by doing things like literally examining every single minutia of the entire experience and addressing how they could improve even the most teeny little things. So
Yeah. That's it. A constant improvement. Yeah. It's just the little tweaks here and there. And I always like to say that sometimes it's just that 1 degree difference because at 211 degrees, water's just really hot. But add one more degree to it, and it begins to change its ability. It goes from a liquid state to a gaseous state. So we never know just adding that 1 degree how it can change our life. And you continue to do that each and every day. Eventually gets exponential. But all right, Eva. Well, I really enjoyed this conversation. I hope you enjoyed it too. I hope you got something. And those of you that were listening, I hope you got some value out of this. I hope you enjoyed it as well. But yes, let's make this a fantastic Tuesday. Let's step into it and make the most of it. Eva, again, I thank you. So, everybody, peace out.